Mubarak here with the 2013 Mr. Olympia Physique Champion, Mark Anthony. How do you feel, man?
People have been asking me this question a lot. It's starting to sink in, but just because of my personality, it's just I'm really happy and excited to be the first ever Men's Physique Showdown Olympia champion. I feel blessed, and really, I really owe it to all you guys that have been so encouraging and supportive to me. So it's an honor to represent and to lead the division, and thank you to everyone that's believed in me from day one.
I made a prediction last year. This is before I signed with Allmax.
Yes.
I think this is before you signed with Allmax actually. And I had said that Mark Anthony was going to be the first Men's Physique Olympia champion. I was correct, man. What do you think separates you from the other competitors?
First, I want to say thank you, Fakhri, for making that prediction and believing in me. I know along the way, every show I see you at, you've always been you've been a gentleman, and you've always given me encouragement. And coming from you, I've followed your career, and I'm a very big fan of yours, and I respect you a lot. I also respect the fact that you're helping grow our division huge here in New York and nationwide by coaching and encouraging all these men's physique athletes out here. So thank you. But that's exactly what I tried to do. I try to separate myself from everybody else, and I'm going to be 34 in November. I've been through a lot in my lifetime, and I know my strengths and my weaknesses. So I try to improve on my weaknesses and to really expose my strengths on stage and off the stage. So to answer your question, I just really try to be myself, but be unique.
Now, let's not talk about weaknesses. What are your strengths? We don't want to give anybody any advantage.
My strength, I believe that over the years I've grown to have a strong mind and a strong heart. I know my body will respond the way I want it to respond if my mind and my heart are correct. Also, I have a strong belief in God, and all faith and power to Him. So that's my strength. Mind control and my heart and God.
Now I know my good friend George Ferrer preps you. How instrumental has George been in your career?
George is again another guy who's been a complete blessing in my life. When I first started out, no one knew who I was except for Jay and a handful of people. Jay believed in me, and when I spoke with George for the first, I actually emailed some other trainers in the industry just telling about my vision and what I wanted to do, and I didn't really get a good response. George was the only guy that said, in an email, pick up the phone and call me. So I drove to Rochester to meet him because I wanted to show him how serious I was. And from that day, 3.5 years ago, we've been together. And he told me that he believed in me and that I was a star, and he would tell me all these things, and I couldn't process it because that's not who I am, but I just listened to him and his guidance. He figured out the science of my body, and together we've been making magic. I love that guy.
Instead of making another prediction for next year, because I think you're gonna win it again, what's your goals in the sport? What type of legacy you want to leave behind?
What I'm trying to do, is really grow this division. I feel like there's a window that's now has been filled, because really bodybuilding is the king of our sport, but this is also a form of bodybuilding, with a different type of swag, as they call it today, or presentation. I feel like all these guys that I've met today in the store are telling me that I'm an inspiration and I'm this, and I'm like, this is like weird to me because I was that guy 3-4 years ago on the other side of the table, and I'm still that guy. I remain the same. So I want to always have people, when they walk away with me, to have a feeling, not about what I did on stage or how many championships I've won. I just want people to remember how I made them feel, and in a positive movement, of course. And this men's physique division to be the biggest thing in the NPC and the IFBB Pro League.
Now, a lot of people don't know that you started off as a bodybuilder.
Yes.
What made you change? What was the transition from bodybuilding to men's physique?
Bodybuilding, as a child, I was just fascinated by bodybuilding. I would flip through the magazines, see guys like yourself, and be like, I was just a huge fan of it, and it was nothing that was going to change my mind. You know, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I lived the life of a bodybuilder. I studied, I learned, and you know, my genetics just wasn't going to take me there. You know, so in 2011, I did my last bodybuilding contest at the Arnold Amateur. I said to myself, I want to get a trophy at this show, and that's all I wanted, and I could be happy. I placed 5th. You know, I was the only North American in that division of 20-something guys, and I got my trophy. And that month is when the NPC, it was of March 2011, when they was the birth of Men's Physique in the NPC. And John Lindsay out in California threw his first Men's Physique contest, which I took part in 23 days later.
After the Arnold.
Yeah, so I tried to reduce my size a little bit. And, you know, Jay Cutler told me that this is a good division for you, you know, and I said, you know what, there really isn't a standard yet. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like this potentially could be a division that I could be great in. Not like bodybuilding, but it's a little bit different where, you know, it's the same sort of condition, same sort of training, but still has its own now division, right? I tried it out, and I put together my own posing, and I said, I fell in love with it. You know, I was like apprehensive at first, but then I did it. And the only way to find out is if you do it. So those of you today who are thinking about it and see me and all the other guys, you know, on npcnewsonline.com, take a chance. You know, there's all local shows, NPC shows in your state or your city, because this has been, for me, made a huge impact in my life and progression as a man. So that's what made me made the transition. I said, I'm going to try to create the standard for this division. I'm going to pose the way I want to pose and lead the way. And so far, it's been a success, and I hope that you know, it's a positive thing.
How many pro shows have you won?
I've won 5 pro shows.
How many have you competed in?
6.
5 out of 6. And Mr. Olympia. That is a crazy record, man.
It's crazy.
So what do you think you have to work on for next year to come back and repeat?
You know, I'm always looking to improve myself, and I'm always looking to learn more. I'd like to be, you know, have with my physique, I feel like, you know, I can have more depth in my back, and just some problem areas that, you know, I want to, you know, have look a little bit more explosive. And but really, the improvement I want to make, and to better myself, I want to be more active in the NPC and IFBB community. I want to be here at NXT Sport Nutrition more often to do these type of events, because it's truly a pleasure to be here with you and your staff. You guys have really treated us like the top athletes in the world.
Which you are.
Thank you. And you know, your customers are just like, it's just amazing to meet these people, because we can't forget where we started. Okay, I'm old school, you know, and that's where I started, and that's to talk to these guys for me is like, it's a pleasure, you know. So I just want to be an overall better athlete on stage, and I want to be known and remembered as the best ever men's physique Mr. Olympia champion.
I like that. Any parting shout outs you want to give? Any thank yous along the line? I mean, you know, you are the first men's physique Olympia. You won 5 out of 6 pro shows. How many shows it took you to turn pro?
1.
One national show.
But you know, I never won an NPC show. I did 3 NPC shows, and I came in 5th, 2nd, and 2nd. And then I got the pro card at the North Americans, where I won my division.
So who would you like to thank along the way of your successful career so far, and the many more success you're going to have for the next many years?
You know, the list is really big, but I'd like to thank all of my fans and the people who I call friends, actually, that have supported me and believed in me from the beginning, that have literally been following my bodybuilding career, physique career till now, and always are sending me shout outs on, you know, social media network and stuff like that. I'd like to thank you, Fakhri, for having us here at NXT Sport Nutrition and giving us exposure and you know, pumping the Allmax brand. I'd like to thank, there it is. I'd like to thank you know, my sponsors, Allmax Nutrition, for giving me the opportunity to be this guy, you know, giving me the right supplements that I need, and the support that I need to train the way I want to, eat the way I want to, and to be a champion. I'd like to thank other sponsors of mine, Eat to Grow, for feeding me, Decor Clothing out of Sweden for clothing me, having me looking sharp and looking good all the time. I'd like to thank the NPC, for the birth of Men's Physique. Our president, Mr. Jim Mannion, who I respect a lot. Big Steve Weinberger for all his encouragement. The IFBB Pro League, without the birth of this division, I wouldn't be able to live my dream. So thank you for allowing me to live my dream. My friends and family, love you all. Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, who's been my mentor and best friend, and Almighty God.
Thank you, Mark, man. Thank you for coming to my store today, man.